my lords. Today I have several noteworthy events to cover from across the Commonwealth, though the first, the finding of this cube, has by far and away the most potential impact for us, and therefore that is where I shall start. We found a colossal metallic cube on Synthara Prime. Its seamless form was suggestive of advanced technological capabilities, although we could not speculate on its origin or function. Nevertheless, we sent our science teams to investigate further, as this was certainly going to be worth our time. The only similar object that we've seen that's cuboid and as large as this is a Star Eater. Perhaps this is a ruined Star Eater. It is certainly worth investigating. Our science teams made planetfall, and upon closer inspection of the giant mysterious cube, it raised more questions than answers. The cube's outer surfaces were perfectly smooth, seamless, and impenetrable to our scanners. As our teams approached the cube, the imposing object seemed to ripple gently in response to our presence. One of the members of the science team recently did a stint working in our advanced xenotechnology labs back home on Unity. They tell us that the cube has all the hallmarks of a material called living metal. This living metal is classified top secret and can be an incredibly valuable resource. We continue to investigate. While exploring the exterior of the cube, one of its surfaces unexpectedly rippled and parted to create an opening into the object's interior. Upon entering, we found a command console still occupied by the husk of a decayed molluscoid. Whatever flesh it may have once held has now decomposed into pale dust. Placed on the center console, we found an unusual container from which occasional thuds and dull clangs could be heard, as if something inside was moving. The seal's container, however, is rather complex, and we have thus far been unable to open it. While data mining the cube's central console, we were able to recover and decrypt several short audio logs. They contain a series of guttural clicks and harsh glottal stops vocalized by a single speaker. By cross-referencing our linguistics database, we found a comparable ancient language and have produced a working translation. The first log reads as following: "My Presidium, you must hear me. There is still time to avoid this war. Your dynast's confidence is injudicious. We cannot defeat the xenophobes. They will destroy us. Appeasement is our only option. This crate contains a gift, a token of peace, the secrets of our living metal mastery. The only way to avoid oblivion is to deliver it to them." The second log has also been translated. This reads: "My Presidium, I have failed. Our annihilation is imminent and inexorable. My hexahedral spacecraft has been sabotaged. I will attempt an emergency landing, but even if I survive, this peace token will not be delivered. The xenophobes will attack us, as we feared." After we had finished translating the audio logs, we set to work attempting to open this box. Given that whatever inside was supposed to broker peace, we assumed that it wasn't going to be very dangerous. Nevertheless, we should probably have taken more precaution, but soon the device was opened. Inside was a peculiar nugget of metal. It was particularly malleable and hyperactive, endlessly reshaping itself into intricate new forms every few seconds. It was almost as if it was alive. The science teams tell us that this is a nugget of pure living metal. Now, we could retain this curiosity to further our understanding of living metal, or we could do as its previous owners had intended, offer it as a gift to the xenophobic isolationist Fallen Empire, in the hope it will improve our standing with them. Despite my misgivings, I did decide upon that course of action. We, via an automated vessel, shipped the device to the xenophobes. We know that they received it. Did they thank us? No. Did they even acknowledge our existence or delivery of the package? No, they did not. I guess the fact they didn't threaten us with annihilation was a small victory in itself. Nevertheless, a very frustrating end indeed, and I must wonder, we know that the xenophobes have genocided several races over the years. Who were these masters of living metal? My initial thought was perhaps the Stellaris. But, given that we are aware of their fantastic stellar terraforming expertise, but we have no records of them using living metal, perhaps it was someone else, another majestic race, ended by the xenophobia of the isolationists. In other reports, my lords, I have news from the fourth planet in the Yelvani cluster. Scans of Yelvani 3 discovered an isolated facility in the planet's most inaccessible region. The structure here appeared to be dormant or abandoned, with no energy signature, and significant signs of prolonged weathering. An archaeological expedition has been prepared in order to investigate this potential point of interest. Our science team soon made planetfall and began to explore the area. The facility's interior contained a myriad of abandoned medical machines, treatment chambers, and a morgue. In the cadaver storage pods, the science team found partially preserved organic remains with signs of disease and deformation. The presence of security doors, surveillance rigs, and holding cells led the science team to conclude that at least some of the residents were kept there against their will. They were able to salvage a few equipment parts, but almost everything had decayed markedly. Limited data remained on the computer systems. Some files were recovered, but they required translation. Fortunately, translation only took several hours. The root language was similar to that of the Alvani Empire, and the science team produced a partial translation for one of the data files recovered from the facility. It was a lab report, and it read: Lab 17, Progress Update, Research Lead, Gelabor. The new prototype showed initial promise. Subjects' immune systems were boosted millionfold, and all pathogens were eradicated. Side effects persisted. Fatal mutation followed. No survivors. We'll try again. The universal macrophage is within our reach. I'm sure of it. The second log has also been translated. This one reads: Lab 17, Internal Staff Memo. Research Lead Gelabor. Colleagues, the project termination order came today. The Overlord's patience is at an end, and yet we are so close to our goal. The universal macrophage is more important than the whims of any one individual. A disease-free future can be ours. What is the small cost of a few more lives for such progress? If they don't send more trial subjects, I will test the prototype on myself. Colleagues, will you join me? A final log was stored in the computer databanks. This one reads: Lab 17, Final Report, Research Assistant, Philidor. Such was Gelabor's confidence that we followed him blindly, testing the prototype on ourselves. Our immune systems were initially bolstered. We were nigh invincible to any outside pathogen. Then the mutation began. Gelabor perished first. It was difficult to watch. Now the whole team is resting in the morgue, and I will join them soon. We failed. We trusted our lives to Gelabor's flawed formula. The universal macrophage works too well. It eventually attacks the host itself. We must destroy everything here, immediately. My lords, it appears that the investigating science team went rogue on this one. We would never have allowed this Gelabor's work to have been continued. Perhaps they knew this and tried without asking. We have one final entry from our own science team's logs that described what happened when they attempted to use this universal macrophage on themselves. We are experiencing severe physical mutation that disrupts the functioning of our cells and vital organs. While in some instances these changes have enhanced metabolic efficiency, more commonly they are causing fatalities. These side effects are a perfect match with the ones described in the original research notes of the universal macrophage. Despite our best efforts, it appears that these mutations are caused by the formula, and they are unavoidable. This technology can no longer be trusted. We are destroying all remaining supplies of the formula and will discontinue its usage. However, it has been too late for us. We will not survive this. A classic reason for why you should not willy-nilly inject alien substances created in a laboratory full of dead aliens. We will spread this report across the scientific community, my lords. perhaps our teams will excavate with more caution. I have 2 minor events to report on, my lords, small colony incidents, and then I'll finish up with a report on some quite revolting pests that we've discovered. The first of the minor events, which I should note is quite gruesome, is codenamed Sky Burial. As we finished terraforming efforts on Thalvoria, the newly established colonists witnessed something quite grim. Bodies began to fall from the sky. From such height, these ancient carcasses were reduced to pulp on impact. Amongst the viscera, we discovered clusters of small objects, ornamental instruments and odd relics, all tumbling from the same dense clouds in the planet's upper atmosphere. These thick clouds, which we can only assume were utilised as a final resting place by some unknown alien race, are now thinning as a result of our terraforming changes, and they are now releasing the contents that were previously suspended inside. We can expect these remains to continue falling as the atmosphere settles, until the cloud graves are emptied entirely. One interviewed colonist commented that it was gruesome, yet potentially lucrative. Believe it or not, our people have begun searching through the alien paste for trinkets and doodads, and some appear, particularly the younger ones, to be quite enjoying themselves. Moving on, our terraforming engineers on Cassida 11 are facing hazardous work conditions due to various pieces of space junk and minor debris orbiting the planet. The high volume of these objects pose a navigational danger for shuttles travelling to and from the surface. Given the sheer density of the material, we have drawn up proposals to magnetise the largest of these fragments so they may attract others as they orbit, gradually consolidating everything into a single and more manageable entity. We theorise that this will be possible to effectively create an artificial moon. While this would increase terraforming time, it would greatly ease shuttle access to the surface and remove the danger of larger orbital debris periodically entering the planet's atmosphere. This, as it turned out, was a fascinating experiment. The idea behind it may be able to be repeated if successful, as we find it rather common when conquering other empires' worlds that their fleets end up littering their atmospheres. I'm happy to report that the efforts to consolidate the space junk were successful. By magnetising many of the larger pieces, we gradually gathered everything into a single massive body of scrap metal. Its density has now risen to the point where it has its own appreciable level of gravity. This newly created moon has since been settled into a stable orbit, and access to the planet's surface is now far easier without this orbital debris. We no longer have to worry about its potential entry into the atmosphere, and moreover, our engineers are confident that the new moon can even support a mining station. We've made a moon of junk, and now we're going to mine it. Truly, we are the peak of an ecologist's dream. The final report I have for you, my lords, is codenamed Revolting Pests. We have encountered a notable disgusting species of fauna native to Dravon 3. Though initially shy, the creatures have since become accustomed to our presence, and with their friendly nature are proving somewhat popular among the more immature of our people. The creatures pose no direct danger, but they have evolved a very specific defense mechanism that also happens to serve as their primary method of food acquisition. Lacking the digestive enzymes needing to break down solid food on their own, they emit a powerful and repulsive gas that induces projectile vomiting when inhaled by other organisms with a functioning gut. These ejected substances are then consumed as their main source of nutrients. It is thought that the culling of these creatures will provide a useful windfall of exotic gas and food. Nevertheless, they are not a great immediate problem, but we should probably look to remove them from the colony as soon as possible. Several weeks have now passed, and ridding the colony of these revolting pests has proven difficult. Younger members of the colony continue to play, and appear to even enjoy projectile vomiting to feed the animals, despite official warnings. As a result of this, it appears that we have become their preferred source of food, and our colony has become a much easier target than the rest of planetary fauna, who know to avoid their foul gases. These creatures have adapted further to our presence and have been witnessed employing ambush tactics to any lone colonist wandering around after a meal. Clearly, these creatures need shooting on sight at this point. Since adopting an official shoot-on-sight policy, it has now been several months since the offending species was last sighted near the colony, and while some of our people miss the presence of the furry creatures, everyone is much happier overall, as they can now travel freely without fear of forcible regurgitation. Our scientists have harvested the bodies of the animals, extracting a considerable amount of exotic gas directly from their internal organs. A slightly sad outcome, but ultimately, I think the right one.